All right, I believe I'm recording on the correct microphone.
Yeah, there we go. Ooh, now I got the stereo, bitch.
I am live.
Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna count down from 3, so 3, 2, 1, and then when I get to 0, everyone say go at the same time. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1,
Go!
Welcome to the Good Games Podcast. My name is James.
I'm Leo.
And I'm Justin.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hello.
It feels a little bit like we're out in like international waters, like on a new frontier. I'm a little nervous.
What?
What?
I'm like afraid. I'm afraid to make any sudden movements. We're exploring new territory.
Oh,
Wait.
yeah, we're experimenting with some new recording techniques. For those listeners,
Feels like anything can go wrong
yeah.
any moment.
Hopefully, people listening to this podcast can't even tell the difference.
All right,
yeah.
yeah, not even worth mentioning.
How was y'all's Thanksgivings?
Delicious.
It was good.
Yeah, same.
Plenty of food.
I can't believe I dropped a y'all there.
You did.
Y'all?
That was unusual.
Yeah.
How was y'all's food?
I noted that actually when
Yeah.
you said that. Is that a thing? Are you a y'all guy now?
I it came out of my mouth and it felt weird. I didn't like it.
Well, living in North Carolina for 5 years now, it's a constant struggle to make sure I never pick up the Southern drawl at all. It scares me, and like now, whenever I say you all, like I have to really work hard to emphasize that, and I do that on purpose.
Like, damn it, that was too close.
Yeah, it's like it's one of my biggest fears. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
One day I'll just be like, "Hey, y'all got some good turkey this weekend?"
Hey there.
So did you guys have a chance to play any Factorio over the holiday break?
A little bit.
Me personally, no.
What
Okay.
the hell?
All right. Well, this will be an interesting episode.
I know what it is, and I'm aware of it. I never got the opportunity to play it.
All right. Good.
Oh,
Well, since you haven't gotten the opportunity to play it, I want you to ask all the questions.
Okay.
You can interview us. So Factorio, for the uninitiated, is a management
What is it?
a management sim game, I guess.
Okay.
You basically build yeah.
I'm guessing by the name that Factorio being factory,
Yes.
kind of, in a sense.
Yeah, you kind of build factories, but it's almost like you build things
I'll tell you what it
to
is.
make more things that build more things
Yeah.
to make things faster to build more things to make things faster.
Factorio is an automation simulator.
Yes, that's very there you go.
It is all about automation, and it's designed to be like modular for you to build better and better automations of things. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
and-
I'm assuming you start off with, like, say, basic
Right.
stuff, and then slowly you get better and better, or you
Right.
find,
You make a
more-
thing. You can make a thing that makes the basic things, so you don't have to make the basic things anymore.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. And like I've played games like this before. So like Minecraft has elements of this where it's like,
Sure.
you get the the wood tools, and with the wood tools you can mine iron, and then you can make iron tools which are better than wood tools, and then you can use that to make the diamond tools which are better than. Factorio has an element of that. There is definitely like tiers of
Like a
things.
tier.
Like
Yeah,
this
yeah.
thing is faster and better than this thing. But there are so many times in Factorio where like the game just shifts because you're like, okay, I
Yes.
see, like I can I can make a machine that will mine materials instead of me having to mine these things manually. There we go.
Right.
And then I can start combining things. Oh shit! What the fuck? I can make a factory to automatically produce mass produce parts. What the fuck? I don't have to do. And then there's so many times where that happens where you're just oh, this game's completely different now. That happens.
Whole new game.
Yeah, that happens when you get to. Did you get to the robotics and automate the drones?
Right. No. Yeah. I'm aware of the drones. I didn't.
Yeah, that's
I kind of got to that point.
Now it's not I make things. Now it's I make blueprints of things and tell the drones to make it for me.
Go get me these things.
Yeah.
Right.
This is a completely different game now.
Okay.
I appreciated that a lot about Factorio, where you get to a certain progression point and then it's no, fuck everything you knew about this game. Now it's something completely different.
It felt a lot like when you play one of my favorite strategy games, real-time strategy games, is Age of Empires. Mm-hmm. And it's designed such that when you hit certain resource thresholds of resource input, you can afford to just pay for this ambiguous thing. It's not giving you anything. It's just giving you access to better technology. Mm-hmm. And so that's what they call it, different ages. And so when you move from the Stone Age to the nuclear age, it's a completely different game, because instead of building bows and arrows and stone walls, you're building tanks and missiles and
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I kind of like that concept, because to be honest, sim games, some sim games can get boring. They can get repetitive, and that you're not going anywhere with them. So I that intrigues me.
Yeah, and I liked this game sunk its teeth into me harder than any other of these sim games have before, because the goal, okay, if you play the I didn't really mess around with a campaign too much, and maybe you did, Leo, and we can talk about that in a second. But I just did the standalone new game mode,
right,
where the end goal, the start is you start on a planet with nothing, right? And the end goal is you have to build a rocket ship and escape the planet, but you start with absolutely nothing, and you have to build progressively more and more and more complex things until you build the rocket ship. So the goal of the game never changes, but you're constantly building more and more efficient things and more and more faster, because you start out with here's coal, and I can burn coal to get fuel. But then, wait a minute, now I can get steam power. If I pump in water here, I can get steam power, and steam power is way more efficient than fuel, and I don't have to burn the fuel. But wait a minute, now I can do nuclear power, or I'm polluting too much. I need to be more pollution reduction, and let me do a solar farm. And you're constantly evolving and improving on your factory, because that's just one element of the factory I mentioned. That's just the power, but there's there's so many, you're just constantly refining,
power, mining, research.
Exactly. You're constantly tweaking and refining your factory, and it this game has an element of just one more thing, one more thing, one more thing, one more thing.
It's so addictive.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why, because it's in this next step, I'm so close to the next science tier, then I'll be able to research whatever petroleum fuels, and then you get petroleum fuels, and then the game completely shifts, and you're oh, now I gotta get lots of petroleum, but in order to do that I need mining drills, and I have to research how to do that, and it's one more thing, and then once I get the petroleum, I have to build a fuel line, so I got to do that, one more thing. And then once I get the petroleum, then I can make plastic tools. Oh, man, it's always just one more thing,
and then
one more thing.
Before you know it, you started the game at one time of the day, and now it's 12 hours later, and you're still playing the same damn
Now
session.
it's 3 a.m, and you're okay, I've got, I have to stop, one more thing, one more thing. I'll be here forever if I do another thing.
It's hard. It's very addicting in that way, and that's what makes this game so good.
Yeah.
The the part that I struggle with is like, it's just so much. Like
this, yes, but it is. There are so many things in this game, but like I think it handles that smartly because when you start, when you start the game, there's nothing. Like, oh, this game is very simple. It's like any other of these sim games I play. You mine coal and then you mine iron, and with iron you make the iron tools. Like when I first
in the campaign, they kind of slowly introduce you to the new things. Do they do that in the regular game?
Well, it kind of does it by itself because you start with the iron tools and you're like, okay, like I've played games like this before. The iron and then I build the. But like the first time the game shifts is when you build the science center and you start researching stuff. Right. Because, like, you start researching, like, the mass-produced factory thing, and then you're like, oh, like, I don't have to build anything anymore. I just have to set up factory lines to build it for me. And then you're like, oh, shit, now I have to, like, build, like, a very efficient conveyor belt system such that I can pull parts off the lines of these belts and build whatever it is I need automatically. So then it becomes about, like, building this automation machine, right? That's, like, the first time the game, like, shifts out of just, like, the standard, like, oh, let me build the iron thing to build the next thing. Like, it's... You know what I mean? Right. It's not, like... You don't... There is elements of that in Factorio where it's, like, the level 1 thing, and then you do enough of the level 1 thing, and then you can do the level 2 thing, and then you can do the level 3 thing, and the level 4 thing. There is definitely that also in Factorio. But there's so many times, like, you research a new technology and you're like, oh, shit, like, I have to completely rethink how I was playing this game now.
Yeah, I mean, I think the part that I struggle with is once you go a certain, like, once you get to a certain depth of this game.
Yeah.
It's, and if things go poorly for you, because we haven't talked about this yet, Ryman, but there's also... some what do you call them, native alien race, I guess.
Yeah,
you're the alien.
they're like a bug-like race.
Yeah,
so you as a player, you're the alien, right? And you're the stranger to these lands, so they're rightfully kind of defending their natural habitat, and so they're going to kill you. And if you aren't properly set up some defenses as part of your factory, you will eventually find yourself overrun. At least in the campaign, that's what I experienced.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember in the trailer video, it's like they have the train set up to run over the bugs or something like that.
yeah. Well, that looks awesome. Here's the thing. If you don't do a good job of setting up all those complex conveyor lines and everything that James was saying to get a good automated system going, you're going to find yourself struggling to just stay afloat and keep resources coming like fast enough to output whatever you're trying to do to defend yourself. So like you will fall behind unless you like completely refactor your entire automation system. And when you get to that point, at least for me, I was like, damn it, I don't want to. It just felt like I can't get this deep again from scratch. Like, oh my God, it's going to take forever to kind of redo everything or to just start a new game. Like, I don't know. It just seems like astronomical to go back and redo everything now. It's like a game I can only play once, is what it felt like.
Yeah. Because in a lot of cases, there's not options to, like, upgrade a thing. Because, like, if you start with, like, a coal-burning thing, like, there's no way to upgrade that to an electrical power thing or a nuclear power thing. Like, you have to, like, scrap that and then, like, replace it with whatever building that you want to replace it with. Yeah. I know what you mean. It's like when the game changes, you're like, oh, like everything I was doing before is kind of useless now. Like I need to like start over with this new technology I now have. Yeah.
Yeah, and it just seems like a daunting task if you do it wrong, because you can like, all right, what you know what it is?
Yeah.
You can get really far by doing things not at optimal efficiency.
Yes. Yes.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You could definitely like in terms of SimCity, it's like you can build like way too many roads or something, and like you'll get by for like a while until you don't, and when you don't, you realize shit, I have to wipe out half my city or else, like it's useless. At that point, I just feel like that's it. It just feels like a lot of work. Like I don't want to. Like I'm working in this game.
That was like really fun for me because like you can when you get a complex enough factory, you can start looking at charts of your output, and you can like chart individual components and like how fast you're outputting them. And then you can look at like what the input components are and the output components are. So like after a while, the game at a certain
zooms out.
At a certain the game progressively keeps zooming out farther and farther and farther. But like at a certain point, the game becomes about identifying bottlenecks and improving bottlenecks, right? So it's like, oh god, I'm not producing enough microchips. Like, how do I produce microchips faster? Like, okay, well, I can upgrade this one thing that produces the microchip, but like maybe the solution is to just get more iron or more copper, more raw materials, and make more factories or make more, plants, or what, I can't remember what they're called. Make more plants to produce more microchips, and like, but
I see your point. It becomes more about trying to resolve those points that are like, rough, right?
And that for me was really fun. Like identifying and resolving the bottlenecks was like really fun for me. But I can see how like you're just like, oh shit, I'm producing like 2 microchips every minute. This is terrible. Fuck it. Like
yeah, that's kind of how it feels. I mean, and I guess it speaks a lot to you as a person when you play this game. Like, if you're the kind of person who's just kind of more about, I just want to mine my coal. You tell me what to mine and I'll mine it.
Yeah.
Like, it's like you're not going to enjoy zooming out. I think I've told you, James, I don't know, we've talked about it a lot, Justin, but I'm now like in management at work. And as a manager now, I have to go from like the individual contributor mindset of just kind of like getting my shit done to zooming out sometimes and going like, how is my team doing and how is our department doing, And I do enjoy that process, but it's still a learning experience, doing that. And so like in this game, you have to be the kind of person that enjoys that zooming out process, and it takes it to the extreme, because then you're zooming out to the level of how much like your entire planet is doing, which is sounds like a terrible video game when you talk about it.
I'm realizing what we're describing doesn't sound fun at all.
It sounds it sounds awful. It sounds like work.
I promise you, if
but it's so addicting and so much fun.
I said this
like
on
if you take the time to focus on it.
Yes, I've said this in a previous episode. Like there's 3 types of people. There's the type of person this game appeals to, and then that breaks down into either you've never heard of Factorio, or you've played Factorio and you have 100 hours in it, or you're the type of person who like this game doesn't appeal to you and will never appeal to you. But if you're the type of person who likes these types of games, like you will not be able to put this down.
That's true.
It really appeals to like the part of my brain that just wants like everything to be like super efficient. Like, oh, I've identified this one little bottleneck. Like, let me improve this and like tweak things. But like also it appeals to like the part of my brain that likes like organization and like patterns, because in order to build a really efficient factory, you have to really think and plan about like where you want your conveyor belts to be. You have to think about where your belts are, like which belts go close to other belts, like where your like walking paths are, where your like train paths are. Like you have to like really plan and think out like a bunch of paths, and like my brain really likes thinking about like these organizational patterns and like how to structure them. I don't know. It was
like a secret back of the head, like OCD kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what? It hits that same like funny bone in me as like my wife does craft shows where she creates all these little handmade things, and then we go to like a venue and she like buys like a space to sell her stuff, and like she'll give me like one job. Like I'm going there to help her set up, and she's like, hey, can you just set this stack of papers in like a pile over here or something. But there's rules. There's like each, other type of paper has to be this color or something, something. I'm making this up, but she assigns me shit like that because it hits the same funny bone. It's like, yeah, sit me at a desk and I'll just organize this in the most fitting way to the pattern based on the rules you've given me, and it'll be like the best possible version of that.
Yeah.
And I'll just sit there and do that for hours.
Yes. There's a lot.
Apparently.
There's a lot of that in Factorio. Just like optimizing and organizing things.
Yes. Yeah. Optimal organization and automation in a nutshell. Again, sounds like an awful game, but it is. It just hits you in the spot. It just hits you, and it's good.
So does this sound appealing to you at all, Justin?
Well, I mean, for someone like me, and in the same kind of context that you were talking about, Leo, I'm the kind of person that like goes into like in my job, and I try to find like ways of making programs more efficient. Like, oh, this thing's taken 30 minutes to run. What can I do to make it, run a lot better? And how can I organize it better? Where can I move functions around, or that kind of thing. So, I mean, it sounds appealing. I would definitely like to try it.
I think you'd enjoy it.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
You want to know something funny though? So I looked on Steam. And apparently at some point in time, because you know how Steam does that thing where you can just they say like, hey, check out these games we suggest to you, whatever, and you just kind of click through them. Apparently this one I ignored.
Oh no!
Yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe I just saw it and I was just like, I don't know what this is.
Hard. It's hard to like see the game and go like, yeah, I want that.
At glance, like it looks crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel this is a great opportunity to shout out to one of our most loyal patrons and fans, guy at work called Lars, who told me about this game originally, and it took him like probably months of him describing this game, adamantly, just really talking very highly of it. But every time I went to look at it, I was like, Factorio.
Yeah.
Oh, $2 on sale. Nah.
Like the thumbnails of the screenshots look like fabric patterns.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. The trailer for this game either looks like way too like it looks incomprehensible. Like you're just like I don't even know what I'm looking at. Like.
Yeah.
I think that was probably my mindset when I saw the game.
But then you look at the reviews and it's like 100% positively reviewed by like everyone who's ever played it.
Yeah,
overwhelmingly positive, right?
Yeah, it's just so. And like, by the way, how many times did you play like the normal game, or did you just do campaign, Leo?
I think I pretty much just did campaign because it was like introducing me into different concepts and slowly moving me. It felt like specific triggered events were happening and stuff.
No, yeah, that's definitely what they do in campaign. And campaign is probably a really good way to learn how to play the game. Because,
that's what it felt like.
Because when you play the game, like, like I said before,
I don't know how you figured this stuff out.
Yeah, well, just trial and error, I guess. But there's so many times where like the game changes, or like I don't know, like I completely restarted the game like 3 or 4 times because like you realize like, oh, I've been doing this completely wrong, and it would take me. It's gonna take me like more time to fix this than it would be to just restart the game.
Restart, yes, absolutely. But that same thing happened to me. But that's the problem is, like, I know that to restart, like, what it took to get to where I was felt like such a long endeavor that, like, it feels daunting to want to restart the game now. Like,
but yeah, there are definitely like 3 or 4 times where like you're like, oh, now I get it, and then you like restart the game, and then that is usually not true. You usually arrive at a point where you find that is not true, and there is something else there's something else fundamentally important to the game that you didn't actually understand.
Yes. That's definitely true.
Yeah. It is a very good unfolding game. There's always something new to discover.
It's so unique in that way. I've never played a game like it before, to be honest. And I gotta say, we're all developers, we're all engineers. From an engineering perspective and a game design and just game programming, like, holy shit. This game is so well developed and so modular, so smooth. Like, it is astronomically incredible for me to just imagine how much complicated code there is to get this game working.
Oh, yeah. The code must look insane.
It seems it seems like there's so many different elements from just, like,
it is
the factory portion to, like, I'm sure there's, like, environmental things that happen.
Yep.
Like you said, the enemies attack, there's pollution, there's statistics on how efficient you're doing, like, Jesus.
Yeah, and at time of recording, Factorio is in early access. Don't let that fool you. Like, this is the most complete game. Like, I think the only reason it's still in early access is because the developers are like, we're just having fun developing this, and like, we don't really know when we're gonna get to a point where we want to call it like complete. But this is the most polished and complete. Like, don't let the early access things scare you away.
Yeah, I mean, but polish is the perfect word for it. Like, the polish on this game is insane, and like they must have just thought about scaling from the very beginning, because like it's incredible. Like, it just seems like an incredible feat in just, game programming and design in general.
Yeah, definitely.
Holy crap.
Anything else on Factorio?
It's good.
It is really good.
It's a very good game. I'm surprised.
Yeah,
how good of a game it is.
It's a very good game.
I think I'll try it.
You should definitely play it. Pick it up. I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of Steam sales coming up soon. Pick it up.
Oh yeah,
for sure when that goes on sale.
Oh, there'll be another one.
Probably going to be like another, Christmas sale.
Yeah, Christmas sale. Yeah. It'll happen.
All right. Well, this podcast is brought to you by our patrons. We now have a Patreon. It's Good Games Cast on patreon.com. And if you enjoy this podcast for some reason, you can, why not become our patron on Patreon? Your Patreon money helps us pay for the software we use to record and edit and post and host this podcast. So we would appreciate it. Yeah. Oh,
you do get some tier benefits. We are going to have a super exclusive Good Games Cast Discord server to discuss with other Good Game Castiites.
I'm going to let you run that. I have no idea how that's...
It'll happen, and it's going to be a thing, and it's going to be super legit and exclusive and stuff. And I thought we could even interact with our patrons to have certain polls on what the next episode should be, or the next top 5, etc.
Yes. Patrons, if you're listening, give us some suggestions on future episodes or top 5s, and you can mail those suggestions to our email address, which is also goodgamescast@gmail.com. So, send us those suggestions. And big shout out to our patrons right now, especially Lars Mortensen and Fair King? I'm not sure.
I think Fair King.
Fair King and Lars Mortensen. Thank you so much for supporting this podcast.
It's basically my good friend Sammy. It's basically just our people we know at this point.
Gotcha.
Thanks, Sammy and Lars. You guys are awesome.
You guys are awesome indeed. So let's get into our top 5. We're talking about sim games, right?
Yeah, our top 5 simulator sim games.
Yeah.
Simulation.
Do we want to make this a consensus, a group project? Do we want to collaborate this? Yeah, I think
because like my sim game experience is like, I have some sim games and things that I guess you would consider sim games.
I've played a lot of sim games. I think when I was thinking about this list,
really?
This is definitely one of my genres for sure.
I really struggled coming up with 5, and I'm like,
really?
Some of these I'm like, I don't even know if I really like these games. Yeah.
I had like 10, dude.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm throwing out Factorio for sure.
Okay, yeah. Factorio is definitely in my top 5.
Yeah. What else do you got? Let me see if I have any overlap here.
Well, one of my kind of like hidden gems that a lot of people probably don't think of is Animal Crossing.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I would put it in
that
the
was
same vein.
Yeah, that was on my list. Is Animal Crossing?
Yeah.
And I had Stardew Valley on mine also.
I've got, of course, I got Stardew Valley on there.
Stardew Valley, yeah.
I've also got two Tycoon games, but one is Game Dev Tycoon. Have you guys played that?
I've never played any of the Tycoon games.
Well, Game Dev Tycoon is really kind of like a homage to the original Tycoon games. I think it's made by a small like indie, might even be one person, but it's like a roller coaster tycoon, which is also on my list. But it's like if you were a game developer, like you start in your garage, like on a old PC, and then you make a game, and it gets like really good reviews, and you choose kind of like the genre and the game style and your platform. And depending on what you choose, it does well or not during that year. Like it starts in like the 1970s and it goes all the way to the current year. And as you get better, you can like start hiring other people to be your programmers. And you gotta like keep them happy and trained, and it's pretty cool.
Okay.
All right.
You guys should definitely play that.
Yeah. I think you've recommended that to me before.
Oh yeah, that might have been one of the very first indie games I ever played. Like it came out like in the early 2008, 2009, the original game. But then like now, I think they've just updated it over the years. Like they're still releasing updates for it. It's kind of crazy.
Nice.
So like quick question. So would certain survival games be considered like sim games? Would you consider those sim games?
I guess it depends.
Yeah, I don't know, because I was thinking about, like, because I brought up Minecraft earlier, but I don't really think of Minecraft as a sim game, though.
Yeah, that's my thing, because, like, one game I wanted to recommend was Subnautica, which I enjoyed a lot.
Yeah!
But then again, it's like...
Yeah.
There's a building element that's, like, you know, you have to simulate the whole building up from being abandoned on a planet, almost the same, you know, kind of concept of Factorio, but, like...
That's the thing, is Factorio kind of has... Factorio kind of has a survival... aspect to it.
Yeah, kinda.
I mean, it's a stretch. It depends on the game, I guess. You know, but I could see some. I think that's getting to more of like a hybrid of genres.
Yeah. I didn't have it on my list, but I thought about Subnautica, even though I haven't played it. There's a bunch of them that I have on my list that I've never played before, including Subnautica. Have you guys played Kerbal Space Program?
No, see, like that's one I've always wanted to play. I've heard there's people who like played Kerbal Space Program as kids, and now they're like in the NASA program.
Yeah.
In real life.
They're like super smart now.
That's the one.
I think you were telling about that, James, the Kerbal Space Program.
I've never played it though. I've only heard good things, but I've never actually played Kerbal Space Program.
See, that's a problem with all these games. They're all like Factorio. Like. You'll have some people that tell you they've played that game, they swear by it, and you can look online and see all the great reviews, but you will never fucking buy this game because you look at it and you're like, what is this? I'm not gonna play this.
Yeah, the one thing with Kerbal that like deters me is the weird looking characters, and I'm like, what is this? Like
it all just looks bad. Like you look at the screenshots and you're just like, meh. But I bet if I played this out 12 hours later, I'd be sitting at my computer working on my stupid rocket ship.
They do kind of look like green minions.
Yeah.
Bad green minions. Like green minions I made in Blender.
Yeah, like Blender, they just used a cylinder, slapped two like spheres on the head, and then that was it. Like, here's our character. Like, oh, the skin color's not white. They're green,
but it's like probably an amazing game. It's the same as, you know, Factorio. Like it's like you judge a cover by its book kind of, but you know.
So yeah, what about Dwarf Fortress? You guys played Dwarf Fortress?
I have played Dwarf Fortress. Yeah, that's very good.
Is that a same kind of sim game?
It's kind of more like I would put it in like a strategy.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Context. It's kind of, I don't know. Yeah, I guess it's kind of simmy, but it's also kind of strategy, like not real time strategy. I guess kind of like, wasn't there like turn based sort of thing to it, like multiplayer?
Oh, I don't know. I'm asking because these are games that I like. In doing research for this episode, I was like, what other sim games are out there? And these are like games that came up.
Well, we haven't even mentioned, you know, just some of the most popular ones of all time.
Yeah.
Like SimCity.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say SimCity for Super Nintendo was my jam.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
I was
played
gonna
a lot
go
of
with
SimCity growing up.
SimCity 2000.
Oh, that's a classic, right?
Yeah.
Now the beautiful thing about SimCities it was like my favorite part was like, oh, I'd build this whole city, you got like roads and you got power lines and buildings coming in, and then like you could spawn tornadoes right in the middle of the town. And
Fucking
King
Godzilla.
Kong, Godzilla.
yeah,
Earthquakes.
Like, why is that everyone's favorite part?
Because
All of a
I
sudden,
want to
like, a
build a
town
city
fire
and
breaks out.
destroy it.
Because you get to like play God, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah,
why
it's like a
I
God
also
thing.
loved Spore.
Oh, okay. Spore.
That was a
Okay.
runner-up
Okay.
for me. That like you literally played God. It's like you had this thing from like a very like when it's like a microbe thing, and like you like decide how it's going to evolve like through evolution, and like simulate like its progress through evolution until you're like this giant monster that like pwns the earth. Then
God,
there's
that brought me back 20 years there with Pwns.
oh yeah, I feel like you should say pwns when you're talking about a game from the early 2000s.
Yeah. Like
Then,
one,
of course-
that got when now talking about like actual God games. Now that brought up the memory of
Black and
the
white.
actual game about gods, black and white.
Yeah, black and white. That's kind of like Spore. I think was kind of like a homage to that game. I think a little bit. I didn't really play black and white, but I remember wanting to play it and play God.
That's literally what you do. You play
Yeah.
God, and you essentially choose whether you're a good god or an
It's
evil
a God simulator.
Evil
Right.
God all the way.
Yeah.
And then you get into. I mean, I don't know how the genre is really quite big, guys. Because then you got.
Yeah.
It's not just about top-down simulations of automations in cities, but then you've got like truck simulator.
Cooking simulator. Farming simulator.
I don't know. I don't really view those as like management sim games in the same way that like SimCity and Factorio and
Yeah,
you know,
definitely not. Definitely not.
those are something different. Like
Okay, but
they're-
I gotta throw in. I have to throw in. What is that? What game I called? I played a shit ton of it. Oh, House Flipper.
what's House Flipper?
House flipper.
House Flipper is a kind of a blend of like the kind of the 3D like I'm in the thing simulator, like an airplane like flight simulator or a truck simulator, and it married that with the more management simulator of like the SimCities and the Factorio, and you literally buy houses for a value on like a sheet, right? Then you go to the house and spend time sprucing it up and painting the walls and adding pieces to it or whatever. Then you sell it on the market, and if the house sells better than for what you bought it for,
You could do this. You could put all that effort in real life and actually make money. Like you can make real money doing this.
No, but
you know that, right?
but it really is a lot of fun. You go into the house and there's like trash, there's wine bottles, there's garbage bags, just like all over the living room, and the paint on the wall is all destroyed. And you spend time in the video game picking up trash and cleaning, and then painting, and then refurnishing. It's a lot of fun. It's
That sounds like tedious work.
sounds like a job, but hey,
Yeah.
what good sim game doesn't?
That's essentially the basis of a sim game.
I want to throw out Planet Coaster. You guys play any Planet Coaster?
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Of course. Well, that's kind of
That's a
like
good
a
game.
like a what do you call that? Where it's like it wasn't a sequel to Roller Coaster Tycoon, but it was like
Like a
obviously
spiritual successor.
spiritual
Yeah.
successor. Yeah.
And speaking of spiritual successors, what about City Skylines?
City Skylines. Yeah, of course. Played
Yep,
that,
yep.
and that's kind of a spiritual successor to the SimCity games.
I have never played that actually.
Oh, it's quite good. Yeah, it's basically like if SimCity was made
Good.
with modern technology.
Okay.
That actually City Skylines actually came about because SimCity 5 was such trash.
Yeah.
A bunch of people were like, "Hey, let's just make our own and make it amazing."
I will
Hey,
say one thing I liked about City Skylines though was that like they I don't know they really I think mastered the concept of congestion on roads and stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's all about if you have certain types of roads in certain areas where certain buildings are, traffic will be so bad that like your city garbage collectors can't get to people's houses to collect trash efficiently, and firefighters can't get to fires efficiently. You know, like stuff like that. That was really neat.
That seems to be so much of like SimCity and City Skylines is like traffic flow. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Optimizing traffic flow, which there's definitely an element of that in Factorio as well. Like,
absolutely. You know, Factorio reminded me of a lot about it, because there was definitely a moment in City Skylines where like I had to just stop and like restart the game, because then I realized, holy shit, like you have to pay a lot more attention to how you put roads down and where you put like bridges and shit, like and wider roads.
I'm fucked. Like this city's a disaster. Like this factory is a disaster. Let me just start over.
I'm just gonna. But the beautiful part about it is like, hey, instead of just deleting the game file and starting a new game, I'm just gonna drop like a fucking fiery tornado here and see what happens, and then you can restart your game after.
Yeah.
All right. Any other nominations, or are we gonna try to rank these in some sort of top 5?
All right. Let's just rank the top 5. I think we've got a lot of honorable mentions in there, but
all right. I demand that Factorio is in that top 5.
Yeah, Factorio is definitely in the top 5. I would say could we say Stardew Valley is definitely in the top 5?
Yep. Yeah, I would say
We barely even talked about it, but I mean, Stardew Valley, people like farm simulator is fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, it's more than that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a farm and social life simulator.
Social kind of like along the same
there's
vein
like
as
a huge,
Animal Crossing. I would nominate Roller Coaster Tycoon or
Planet Coaster.
Planet Coaster.
Yep, I'll put Planet Coaster in there.
Yeah.
Planet Coaster is really good.
Might as well just go with the spiritual successor versions of the games.
Yeah. Planet Coaster is pretty fun. There's so many updates to like that and City Skylines. I keep seeing like they're constantly supporting
to me those two. To me, you can't talk about the top 5 current, like just top 5 simulator games, like without talking about City Skylines and Planet Coaster. Like to me, those are in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
What else?
Do we put the original?
SimCity? And which version are we doing? SimCity SNES, SimCity 2000, SimCity the original?
Can we just say SimCity series?
Yeah, but there's some stinkers in that series, though.
Yeah. And what about The Sims?
Oh, we didn't even talk about The Sims.
See, I don't know.
I mean,
I have like experience a little bit with The Sims, but
that's like a person simulator. Like it's legit.
It kind of, to me, that is again falls outside of like the management style simulator.
I don't know, because you kind of manage them. Manage a single person, like their life.
Okay, but it's also, in a sense, it's also kind of like random in itself, because you're kind of like giving commands, but then sometimes they just kind of do their own thing, and then it's like, so are you really simulating or in control or managing, or is it just kind of you're just making sure he doesn't catch himself on fire while cooking food?
But that's kind of how like City Skylines is, right? Like you kind of just lay out what your best version, like you're trying to lay out the things for them the best you can, but then sometimes they just like follow this weird path that messes up the efficiency of things, you know?
Yeah.
Well, do we want to put one of the SimCity games on there, or do we put City Skylines on there?
See, that's the thing, is I feel like City Skylines is just like the obviously better version of SimCity.
The modernized.
Right.
Yeah,
SimCity.
in the same way that
Planet Coaster.
Planet Coaster is for Roller Coaster Tycoon.
All right. So
I'd be okay with that.
City Skylines.
I say City Skylines, Planet Coaster, Factorio, Stardew Valley. Those are 4 already.
Yeah, that is... Yeah, that's basically what my top 5 was.
And then, what's the 5th one?
I mean, I had SimCity 2000 on there, but I don't feel strongly about that.
I guess it can kind of be just any of these kind of oddball ones, huh?
I don't know. Anyone feel strongly about any of the sim games we talked about previously? Because I don't feel strongly enough about SimCity 2000 to fight for it.
No, yeah, I feel like that would probably at least fall just outside of the 5.
Yeah, I mean,
But
it's definitely inspirational and nostalgic, but like, I don't know if I'm like today. I don't know if I'm going to go back and replay SimCity 2000.
I mean, no, you just play City Skylines. I mean,
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, the only other one I have on my list is Game Dev Tycoon and Animal Crossing. So, I mean, okay, except for all the other ones I talked about, but
I would say Animal Crossing would actually be a pretty good runner to go in there, because that series has it's made its point. It's people like it.
Okay.
it's a social simulator.
Yeah.
Right?
All right. Okay.
Yeah, and you got there is a management element obviously to it, and you know what it's different in the fact that it's like a nice game. It's got like the relaxing music, and there's like friendly there's like friendliness to
cute
it.
voices.
Yeah, and it kind of, I don't know, yeah. It's like one of those sim games where if you're trying to get away from like being stressed out, like Animal Crossing would be that game.
Kind of in a similar way Stardew Valley is, but
yeah. Oh god, Stardew Valley is just so stress reducing. It's so calming. Yeah.
But I think Animal Crossing just does a little bit more cutesy things, and like, and I mean Stardew Valley does this too, but like Animal Crossing was the first game that really put an importance of like real time. Like if you go to this certain place on like this day of the year or something, like in real life, you'll find something, whatever. That was, I don't know, pretty cool.
Yeah, Stardew does a lot of that, but I know Stardew is just borrowing from Animal Crossing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I feel Animal Crossing's, I think it's worthy. I think it's worthy of the top 5.
All right, so then that means our top 5 is in no particular order yet.
Yeah.
Stardew Valley, Factorio, City Skylines, Animal Crossing, and Planet Coaster. So what's number 5?
Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing?
Yeah,
Okay,
Animal Crossing, that's fine.
Yeah.
Number 4.
One of the
maybe Planet or City Skylines, Planet Coaster.
I would vote either one of those two. I think are 3 and 4. However you guys want to.
Yeah.
To me,
like,
Planet
Skylines?
Coaster is a little bit better just because I like the people aspect.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah.
Somehow Planet Coaster is more like nice and welcoming to me than City Skylines. I don't know. I can't explain that, but yeah. Okay, then
because like at least Planet Coaster, even if you fuck it up, like you can at least fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. You can just do like one coaster bad, and then just like everyone's still doing stuff in the rest of the park, and it's really engaging though. Like the way you hear about people's emotions, from rides and stuff. Like I don't know.
I had so much fun on the Whirly Girly. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So I would
you're
say
right.
4 City Skylines, 3 Planet Coaster.
Yeah, you're right about that. Like, I've never redone a park in Planet Coaster the same way that I've redone cities and City Skylines and factories in Factorio.
No, that's why I love the Roller Coaster Tycoon so much, because, and I mean by proxy,
Planet Coaster, yeah,
Planet Coaster,
yeah,
because like you just like you find sections of the park that are bad, and you can just like close off that section.
You can just fix them. Yeah, all right. Let me just fix this.
I mean, which I mean, it that works in real life. I mean, we live around like 3 or 4 theme parks here in Florida, so we know that like they just close off the section and then just completely renovate it. I
won't lie to you guys. For that reason, that's why I had Roller Coaster Tycoon / the coaster simulators like as my number 1 actually, because of that specific kind of game mechanic being easier on me than like these other games where I have to like restart everything. But that's okay.
Right.
I mean, I'll settle for a 3. I think.
So our last 2 are Stardew Valley and Factorio. Where are they going?
Look,
I would put Factorio at a 2, only because like the audience appeal might be a little bit rough.
Yes,
I'm with Ryman there. I like Factorio a lot, but
like if you really want a simulator, I feel like it sounds like Factorio would be like the simulator.
Oh, this is the simulators fan simulator.
Yeah, and that's true. They kind of both hit different chords, like they strike different chords on me. Like Stardew Valley is more for like if I just really want to just get into a simulating kind of a busy life of very different from what I live today, like the outdoor life and the seasons and the types of plants, and it's much more chill, and it's got the whole other little stuff. Yeah, relaxing. Whereas Factorio is more like if I want to hit that OCD stuff we talked about earlier.
Exactly.
But I think in general, I'm more likely to go back to Stardew Valley and see how my farm is doing than I am to go and say hi to my robots.
Yeah, because like once you leave a factory in Factorio for like a semi-long period amount of time, you return to your factory and it's just foreign. You're like, what is that? I don't know where anything goes in. I don't know where anything comes out.
Like,
I don't know what.
Yeah.
Any of these buildings
the
are...
pacing like made sense to you at
one point? Yeah, everything gets lost. It's like going back to like old programming code that you haven't touched in 3 years.
Because you create a mental map of your factory, and if you like leave that alone for like a couple weeks and return to it, you're like, I have no idea how this works anymore. Screw it, I'm starting over.
Hey, you don't remember your bottlenecks. You don't remember what you were going to do. Like,
yeah. But yeah, you can always go back to Stardew Valley.
Stardew Valley is always there waiting for you.
That's why it is the #1 best simulator game.
There you go.
You heard
Stardew
it here,
Valley,
folks.
Factorio, Planet Coaster, City Skylines, and Animal Crossing in that order. We didn't say what Animal Crossing though specifically.
I don't know. Original, I guess.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. Animal Crossing, the original.
The original.
All right, good stuff. That's our top 5. What do you guys want to endorse? You want to endorse some stuff?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
All right. So me and James started having this conversation shortly before the podcast, but I thought, well, James's idea really was, hey, you should endorse that. You guys are homeowners, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you guys in what's called an HOA?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know, they they help maintain the general aesthetic of your community and give everyone who's a homeowner in the area kind of specific rules they have to abide by, and you have to pay like to be a part of, just to like have a house there or something. They get a bad rep.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Recently, we had an HOA meeting of sorts, like a town hall, and we have to go, like they have to get a certain number of homeowners who are a part of the HOA to go to this meeting, or else they like reschedule it until they reach a certain threshold. Like, and you have to go to vote on who's going to be on the board of the committee or something stupid.
Yeah.
So I kept getting these like letters that, like, hey, you got to go to this meeting. So I was like, fine. I dragged my feet, went over there, and I loved it. And I'm here to endorse going to your fucking HOA meetings because it is awesome.
Okay.
You are officially old now.
I am so old. But look, I had a great time getting to know my neighbors, people that I see from afar and avoid. We were stuck in a room together and we had to talk, and you got to, you know, Susie down the block is a stay-at-home mom, and her husband, you know, is the band director at the local high school. And you know, your board members and your committees are people who live down the street, like live in this block, so they care about the community literally because we all live here. You know? So I thought it was going to be this big kind of corporate thing, but really ended up just being a room full of people who all live around me. And this was like, I've been here for 8 months, and this was the first time I talked to any of them. And I don't know, it was just really cool. We all decided we're going to like start hosting some neighborhood yard sales and some neighborhood events. And all got to know where everyone lived and what they did and what their names were. You know, I don't know. I think there's some merit to, I guess I could just say meeting your neighbors. But if you have trouble doing that, I recommend going to your next HOA meeting.
Nice. Okay. HOA meeting.
I've been here 2.5 years, have not gone to a single HOA meeting.
Dude, you should go, man. You'll like it.
I feel like I'm going to live here for like ever and never go to a HOA meeting.
I mean, you don't have to.
You guys are missing out. You're missing out. Like, I'm not going to lie to you.
James's
I'm not going to lie to you.
concern is-
They were looking for more board members, and I thought about it.
I heard it's definitely a thing to consider because it's not like, oh, I'm on here now I can do whatever I want, but at least you have like a deciding power, and you can kind of see, you can make big decisions.
They decided like, oh yeah, like we're gonna make an amendment to do this, and like we're gonna add trees here and stuff like, and it directly affects you because you bought a house in this area, like you care theoretically about your surrounding neighborhood. So
yeah. Imagine our generation, because like granted, like HOAs tend to be the older generation most of the time. Imagine now, like in like say 20 years, our generation's the one sitting in those chairs. Are we gonna have Smash competitions at HOA meetings?
Yes. I'll go if that's what we're doing.
Well, that's the thing. James now is the time to start getting in there and establishing your dominance, so that 20 years from now you can be like, all right, guys. We need to do the annual Smash tournament. We're going to make sure we get that in,
The neighborhood Smash tournament?
Yeah. So, get in there now. Start getting plugged in. Start getting, connected with your community. And this is like literally your local community. Like this isn't like, voting for the governor of your city who never gives 2 cents like who you are or whatever. Like this is directly affecting you, and you will be able to directly affect your community by going and being involved with your HOA. So,
well, I've got a different type of endorsement. I'm going to endorse buying things to make your life more lazy. So I've, on this podcast, previously endorsed lots of smart home products like the Hue lights, the Hue thermostat. I've endorsed a Roomba, which basically just takes that chore of vacuuming and just deletes it from your life.
Okay.
So we're decorating at time of recording. It's in December. We're decorating for Christmas, and my wife, we just bought a new Christmas tree for our house, and my wife is decorating the tree, and she's like, "Oh, it's like so inconvenient that we have to like plug and unplug the tree every night." And I was like, you know what? I can fix that. And I am going to endorse buying a smart plug. So it's exactly what it sounds like. It's just a plug that hooks up. It's like an outlet plug that hooks up to your Wi-Fi network. And then you can plug literally anything you want into it, and then turn it on and off. Yeah, turn it on and off with your voice, with your phone, whatever. So now I can just say, okay, G-word, turn on the Christmas tree. And then the Christmas tree comes on. And neither of us have to get up off the couch. It's great.
I've always wanted one of those. Those have been on my wish list for years.
They're so cheap.
I wonder, do they make an outdoor one?
Ooh, probably. They have to.
Because I would love to do that with the outdoor lights.
They're so cheap. The one I just got was like $8. They're outrageously cheap.
Yeah.
Okay.
A smart plug. Make your life more lazy.
If I had like the ability to visually see waves, like Wi-Fi waves in a house and stuff, I would just look in James's house and there would just be like a mess of just like Wi-Fi signals.
Oh yeah,
traveling throughout his whole home.
Yeah,
if you want to know if you want to know if Wi-Fi causes cancer, just stand in James's house and record it.
Yeah, if I get cancer soon, you'll know why.
Oh, that's messed up. Not true.
Justin, what do you got to endorse?
Well, like we were on the theme last time on like music. That's kind of the end note that we had, and I did want to endorse. Because when I program, and I'm sure as you guys do, you like to listen to some music, and sometimes you just peruse like YouTube, just looking for new random things. And my big thing is looking for like, I tend to look for like remixes on video game music a lot, and you can guess which one I usually look for. But I wanted to endorse.
Oh, Zelda.
Yeah. But I wanted to endorse one artist I found that I thought was really good because it was very, very different and unique. It's like he does orchestrated versions of like Majora's Mask and Zelda music.
Ooh.
Rosen, Rozen.
Ooh.
I had discovered via YouTube, and it's really good. Like, it's not just like, oh, I'm making an orchestrated version of the melody. Like, no, he makes his own kind of like stories through the music through them. Like the Majora's Mask, it's called Children of Termina. He does it so melodically well, and the instrumentation is just so good. And so that would be my endorsement, is to check out Rosen. You can find him on YouTube, and he's got a lot of good Zelda remixes that he's made.
I am gonna check that out at work tomorrow.
I definitely will as well.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Anything else?
Nope.
Good.
Spay and neuter your pets.
Spay and neuter your pets. Our next episode is very exciting. Our next episode is going to be our top 5 games of the year.
Oh, man.
And we're going to be talking about Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
This is going to be an action-packed episode.
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to the next episode. So don't miss that one. Keep your eyes peeled for our next episode.
Yes.
But yeah, for the Good Games podcast, I'm James.
I'm Leo.
And I'm Justin.
And we'll see you next
May the Force
time.
be with you.
Yes,
always.
and also
See ya.
with you.
Oh.
Goodbye.
See you.
Bye.
It's the same as, Factorio. Like, it's like you judge a cover by its book, kind of, but, It's like you judge a cover by its book, kind of, but,